alternate day fasting is a really common way to get that fat off you really quickly, or we lose weight. And that means you fast breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You go to sleep, and by the time you wake up, you fasted for 36 hours,
Right.
and then you can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner the next day.
Welcome back to the podcast, Fasting, Food, and Faith. I'm Brianne Sims, RN.
I'm Dr. Sam Sims, nurse anesthesiologist.
And today we are answering a question that we received on one of our previous podcasts. And we actually get this question a lot. So today we're addressing how long should I fast, or how to determine how long I should fast. So a lot of people ask us, well, how long should I fast? So the answer to that question depends on what your goals are. So it depends on if you're fasting for health, if you're fasting for weight loss, or if you're doing prayer and fasting. So I thought first maybe we talk about fasting for health.
So there's been numerous benefits about fasting for health, and basically a lot of times, especially if you're like, let's just say, hey, I want to be a little healthier. I'm happy with my weight. I don't really want to change my weight, but I want to have some of the health benefits of fasting and getting my body to make that metabolic switch where I get the cognitive improvement. I get my chance to, autophagy, and I kill cancer cells in my body, and I kind of clean up my system and decrease inflammation. But I'm really happy with my weight. I just want to feel a little better. I want to be healthier, and I just want to use fasting as that.
Right, which is why I started fasting, because I wanted to heal my gut.
Yeah, because you want to heal your gut.
Yeah.
So, and actually one of the things that you can do, fasting has been shown to change the gut microbiome, because the foods that we eat, or the bacteria we have, is based on the food that we're eating. If we're eating a lot of processed foods, then we're going to have bacteria that lives on processed foods. And so if you can fast, then those bad bacteria can die off. And you can heal your gut that way. So that was a healthy way to do it. And typically those fasts are less than a day. So a lot of times they're, a 12-hour fast. And a 12-hour fast is actually how we used to eat in the 1970s. We would eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You didn't get a snack because you spoil your appetite. And then you let your body kind of reset in between meals, which we don't do anymore, which we should. And then you fasted for 12 hours between dinner and breakfast the next morning. And so that's really an easy way to start. And that is the training wheels to fasting. Don't snack, eat 3 meals a day, and obviously don't overdo it. And then take a 12-hour break. And so that's one of the easy ways to do it. And you're going to basically need to do that about every day in order for you to have like those health benefits.
Right.
Okay. The other ways that you can do it are what's called 16/8, and that means you basically skip one meal and you have an 8-hour eating window. Most people skip breakfast because a lot of people actually wake up, they're not hungry. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day is actually not true. But breakfast is actually made up of 2 words, break, fast. And so that's actually what it was when you broke your fast. Again, in the 70s, you broke your fast with breakfast. And so you can have your break fast meal at noon. Anytime. So a lot of people skip breakfast and eat lunch and dinner. Some people aren't hungry at dinner and they like breakfast and lunch. And so it just kind of depends on which one you want to have. And that's another way to be healthy. And you got to do that at least 5 days a week. And so most people will actually do that like when they're during their work week. Nobody's going to know at work if you skipped breakfast.
Right.
And you can go eat lunch, and they also won't know if you skip dinner. So you can do either one.
And sometimes, depending on where you work, they have no idea if you skip lunch either.
Yeah, or you can say, I'm working through lunch. And they'll be like, oh, okay, you're just go-getter. I do long fasts, and people know that I fast. So, are you fasting today? Yes. No, okay. But before, I would skip lunch. And they're like, no big deal.
So I would say that anywhere from a 12 to 24-hour fast is a good maintenance fast, a good fast to help improve your health, improve your gut, get into autophagy, train your body into ketosis, those kind of things. So if that is your goal, then doing, 12 to 24-hour fast is a good place to be. And we actually have on our website for free our fasting calendars, which is a schedule that you can follow like 3 months at a time. You can go on there and download if you just need help and you just want to follow a fasting schedule of your own and make it work for you. And it goes around holidays and different things like that. So it's a good resource.
Yeah, and kind of a rule of thumb of maintenance fast is 12 hours every day, 16 to 8, 5 days a week. I don't really like doing 5-2s, but people like doing 5-2s where you eat regular during the week, and then on weekends or 2 days you eat like 500 calories or less for two days in a row. 20 to 24 hour fast, basically it's 1 meal a day or a 4-hour eating window. at least 3 days a week for that. And if you like to do 36-hour fasts, I like doing those at least 2 days a week. That's kind of your maintenance.
Just overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it basically gets about 72 hours, 72 to 84 hours basically a week you need to fast.
Yeah. And if you're wanting the autophagy and just the benefits of lowering your risk of cancer, they do recommend that you do 1 7-day fast a year. And so if
Yes.
you're wanting to do a longer fast for your health, like especially if you have some of those risks in your background in your family, or even you've had cancer before, we would definitely recommend that. And we have some other resources and videos on doing longer fasts, so definitely check those out if you decide that you want to do that.
Yeah, and I will say that one of the biggest myths about fasting, when you fast for longer, your muscle mass is gonna go down. And actually, no, your human growth hormone goes up, and so your muscle mass is maintained while you fast. So so human growth hormone maintains your muscle mass. It elevates 5 times in the first 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. It stays elevated the entire time you're fasting. Your norepinephrine goes up, so it maintains your metabolism. So you can fast for several days. Most people can, as long as you're not, your BMI is not really low, below 18.5. As long as your BMI is not low, then you can probably fast several days. Basically, if you can reach down and on your fat, you can pinch an inch, you can probably fast. So that's one of the things that that why I say if you can pinch an inch, you can probably fast. So you can fast longer. Some people can't. Some people don't want to. But they have shown some good data that is showing that if you do like Brian said, a 7-day water fast, or at least once a year, you can almost eliminate your risk of cancer, because your body is going to go look for cancer cells to destroy, because it has amino acids in it, it has magnesium in it, it has potassium in it, it has calcium in it, and cancer cells selectively feed on glucose. So if you don't have any glucose, they're starting to starve. And your body's like, oh, wait a minute, that's a problem cell. I'm going to go ahead and destroy that and utilize everything that's in there.
Right.
So
there's a lot of good reasons to fast for your health.
That's your health.
And there's a lot of options out there. Let's talk about fasting for weight loss and how to determine how long you should fast.
Most of the people we work with don't ever fast more than 24 hours because they don't want to.
Right.
And it is intimidating the first time you go to sleep without food. I fast more than 24 hours because my body is used to that. I can make what's called the metabolic switch. Metabolic switching is where you switch from sugar energy, glucose, to fat energy in your body. And my body switches really quickly now. It didn't used to, but you hear about like runners hitting the wall. It's because they've never trained to switch that metabolic switch. And so if you train your body to do that, then pretty quickly your body makes that switch really fast. For most people, I like to do alternate day fasting. It's a really common way to get that fat off you really quickly, or we lose weight. And that means you fast breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You go to sleep, and by the time you wake up, you fasted for 36 hours, and then you can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner the next day. There's modified alternate day fasting where people eat a little bit of calories, like 25% of their calories during the day, but I don't really recommend that. I think it just makes you more hungry, but that's just me personally. But you get better benefits if you go at least 36 hours. You can quickly peel the weight off that way, but that's me personally. A lot of people like to do 24s, and so what you do if you do a 24, that's a 1 meal a day, is give yourself either a 4-hour eating window or a 1 meal, and you're going to really be monitoring how full you feel. Your satiety hormones, your I feel full hormones are going to start to reset. So what's that mean? When you start to eat, you're going to start to feel full sooner, and you have to listen to that and say, I don't have to clean my plate anymore. It's okay. You don't have to clean your plate anymore. If you're full, stop. Put it in the fridge. It can be leftovers tomorrow for your next meal.
Right.
Or for the weekend. Or for your kids. Or for somebody else. You have to be a little more mindful on 24-hour fasts, because you have to make sure you listen to your body and stop eating, because we're not really good about that.
But research has shown if you want to lose weight, that if you do like the 36 to 48 hour fasting window, it's really good for weight loss. Really
good for weight loss. Really quickly lose weight.
Right.
You switch over. Yep.
Yeah, really improves your metabolism and getting your body into ketosis and really burning the fat.
Right. And one of the things I'll say is like, well, people tend to overeat on the other day. Yes and no. One, you're in control.
Right.
So you're in complete control. And the other thing is if you, let's say it's 2,000 calories a day, okay? You don't eat one day, now you're at a 2,000 calorie deficit. And the next day, if you ate 2,800 calories, then over 2 days, you're still at $1,200. You made $1,200 if you fast for a day.
Okay, I wish that were true.
I wish. You're still at 1,200 calorie deficit over those 2 days.
Right.
Okay.
So.
And they're trying to basically, they tell you like lose, like when they do caloric restriction, they're trying to just cut out 500 calories a day. So you'll be at 3,500 calories for the week, right? Which is 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories. You can get that in just a couple of days with fasting.
By just giving meals, and you'll be a lot healthier in the long run.
Yes, and your metabolism compensates for when you just do caloric restriction, and your metabolism stays up when you do fasting.
Right. So that's the big difference. Is that if you're worried about your metabolism, then you should do fasting.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, you can lose weight anyway. You can, but a lot of the research shows that when you lose weight with caloric restriction, that is temporary results. It's like, do you want temporary results or do you want long-term results? Yeah. Do you want to lose weight and you want to lose weight, lower your metabolism, and then regain the weight and make it harder the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time? No. Who's sick of doing that?
Right.
So when you fast, your metabolism stays up, you lose the weight, and then you go back to eating. Now, guess what? If you go back to eating all the terrible food that you ate before, and as much as you ate before, you will regain the weight. But your metabolism hasn't dropped, so you can fast it off again.
Right, which is fasting always works.
Yep, fasting always works.
We're going to take a quick moment and share with you how we got started and some free resources that are available to you.
We want to tell you how we became fasting experts. We tried to lose weight all the ways it told you to for over 10 years and just stayed heavy and didn't get healthier and got frustrated and got sick of it. And then she told me about fasting and I said, no way. And then we did it and it was so successful that now we teach people how to do it.
Yeah. We
learned a lot of things, learned a lot of research, and I have to be proven that it's right, and I did prove it was right. And so now I can help you. Brianne can help you. We can help you be successful. We have a website called kingdomfasting.com. That's where you can link to our podcast. You can get our free 5-day challenge to fast for your first time. You can get calendars, and you get a jumpstart guide. And if you still have more questions, you can reach out to us, and we will meet with you. And you can schedule an in-person meeting or a video chat at the bottom of our page. Schedule me.
So, in determining how many days to fast or how often to fast, let's talk about the numbers. A pound of fat is 3,500 calories.
Yep.
Basically. So, if you're eating...
So, let's say you're eating 20. It makes you 20,000 calories a day. Can you imagine that? That'd be awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's... I'm on the Krispy Kremes and fried chicken diet. 20,000 calories a day.
Oh boy.
Wash it down with ice cream shakes. Okay.
No.
2,000 calories a day. All right? That's typical. That's the diet saying 2,000 calories a day. If you eat 2,000 calories and you have 10 pounds of extra fat, let's start with that. Okay? So a pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So 10 pounds of fat is 10 times that, which would be 35,000 calories.
Right.
Okay.
So if you divide that by how many calories you typically eat in a day...
20,000. 2,000. 2,000. Why?
2,000. Why are you on 20,000?
I don't know.
So if you divide that by 2,000 calories a day, which is what you would not be eating if you were fasting...
Yes.
That equals 17 and a half days to fast in order to lose the 10 pounds. So there's the math for you.
Yes.
Basically, 10 pounds of fat, 17 and a half days.
17 and a half days of energy.
Yeah, on your body. So, if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, you'll need to fast 17 and a half days.
But not all, and I don't want to fast 17 and a half days in a row. Okay, well then do it over the next 2 months.
Right, exactly. Like you can divide that up, which is why we provide the fasting calendars on our website so that you can have a schedule to follow. There's a beginner set, which we were talking about. Most of those are 24 hours or less. And then there's the expert fasting set for people who really want to get those longer fasts in and lose weight because it ramps up to 1 or 2 longer fasts every month. So go check those out if you want to get into a fasting schedule or fasting regimen. Those are super helpful.
Right. And if you want to decrease the amount of days you got to fast, exercise.
Yes.
There you go. That's exercise, you're going to burn more fat off your body and then you don't have to fast as long.
Yeah. Also true. And exercise improves your health exponentially. Adds years to your life as well as fasting.
There you
go. In combination, probably going to live forever. if you fast and
So I mean, so
exercise.
far we both
Like,
haven't died yet. So far we're good. So
Anyways, so how to determine how long you should fast? Basically based on how many pounds you want to lose.
right,
Really.
and the longest fast was 389 days, and he was monitored his health. So that's the longest fast. So you'd be surprised how long you can safely fast.
Yeah. I mean, if you do a longer fast, you need to be monitored, do your lab work, and
absolutely,
taking your supplements and drinking your water, your electrolytes, like all the things.
Yeah,
so
monitor every week if you're going to do long fast.
Yeah.
So now that's all the options. So the way I like to fast is I often will I almost always do a 16-8. Almost always. I almost never eat breakfast. Lunch and dinner during the week sometimes. 24s are very common for me. And then if I feel like I put in a little extra weight, then I'll add in some 36s to 7 days. And I take my multivitamins when I do that. If I'm doing longer than 7 days, I always get my lab work to make sure I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
That's my personal way of I like to fast. Sometimes, especially after like Christmas or summer, or like, the kids have been home and we ate a little more than, and usually after the 4th of July barbecue, I'm like, it's time.
Time to fast.
Yeah, it's time to fast. So What about you? How do you like to do it?
I usually do somewhere between 16 to 24 most days. I like to have brunch on the weekend, so I don't always do as much fasting on the weekend, but I really rarely eat before noon.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really like doing overnight fasts as much, so I will do those occasionally. But I really stick to 24-hour fasts and stop eating when I'm full and eat a lot of protein and fat so that I feel fuller, and just in general try to eat a healthier diet and not so much sugar and processed foods. I'm really careful about not eating processed foods.
Yep. And when you break your fast, break it with real foods. That's really a big key. Don't break it with a bunch of processed foods. You'll have regrets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Immediately.
There's repercussions.
So another way to determine how long you should fast is just ask God. If you're incorporating fasting into your prayer life, then the biggest thing is just asking God how long He wants you to fast for, what He wants you to fast from, and just what that looks like. Isaiah 58 is the fasting chapter in the Bible. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend that you read it. There is a book on Isaiah 58 called God's Chosen Fast, because the first verses in that says, "Is this not the fast that I choose?" And it's God speaking. And so there's a right way and a wrong way to fast in the Bible, and
he talks about that.
Yeah, and you want to fast God's way. So if you feel like He's calling you to fast and pray over something, then continue to pray into that and seek His heart for your fast.
Yeah, and there's only very few times where there's fasting in the Bible where it's food and water. They fast from both. Usually, you don't do complete fast like that. The only time that it's really Esther does it. She does food and water for 3 days. Paul does it after he meets Jesus on the Damascus Road, but he's not really doing anything. He's just staying in one room. They're not really doing anything. It's not really recommended to do fast without food and water. Moses does it when he's in the presence of God. So Moses does do it without food and water, but unless you're in the presence of God, don't do it more than 3 days. So, careful of that one. But everybody else does it with water. And one of the things, even Jesus believed that he did it with water, that he consumed water, because when you don't have water, then, when you have food and water, the thing you most are is thirsty. And when Satan shows up to tempt him, he doesn't test him with water. He tempts him with food. Right. So likely consumed water that entire time. So not recommended to have to do a fast unless you pray about it. Some people do 3-day fasts without food and water. I know that, but make sure your kidneys are good and make sure that's a prayerful decision, but it's not something we can recommend.
Right.
Other religious fasts are 24-hour fasts. A lot of religions do 24-hour fasts where they eat, they go from dinner to dinner. They do a 24-hour fast. That's one of the ways to do it, or sun up to sundown. That's another 24-hour, another day fast that people do. So something you should do prayerfully, and then pray when you break it, and then pray before you fast, and then pray when you're done.
And pray during your fast.
Yes. So
because most likely, if He's called you to fast, you're going to need His help to complete that fast.
Yep, absolutely.
So pray when you're hungry.
Yep.
best fasting fuel there is out there.
It is.
Thanks for listening and being here on another episode of Fasting, Food, and Faith. If this episode was helpful for you, we'd love it if you shared it with your family and friends.
Happy fasting.